All right, listen. You go in there, you find the phone, and you call 911. You stay here till help gets here. You got it? You understand? Go!
I wanted to do a story that made George an action hero.
What we did on that show was extraordinary.
I had my wetsuit on. I was there at 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night, and we were shooting in the water.
I actually said at one point, oh God, it's so much pressure, I can't take it.
You hold on, damn it! You hold on!
In year 2, we felt we needed to give George Clooney a special episode to really illustrate his character, and I happened to land on that episode. It was just assigned to me. So I decided to do one of these traditional children down the well shows, but make it more fantastic than we had seen before.
We were just barely kind of learning how to use our set. Now we were going to go out and build a pipe and put a kid in it with thousands of gallons of water. So I knew just as a director and as a producer, it was going to be a little different.
I remember after reading it, I thought it was going to be very difficult to accomplish logistically. I mean, a lot of the episode took place inside a corrugated pipe.
The lights stop! All right, hang in there.
It was all at night, there was a child involved, all those sort of things that add up to danger.
You're taking kids and you're putting them in physical situations, and we were out working in the rain and we're breaking windows, and they're going to be able to kind of perform and not get tired, and I just had a good instinct about these kids.
Hey, come here. Come on. You listen to me. You gotta stay away.
When I was writing Hell and High Water, I thought, well, how can I get George into a tuxedo so that he will be saving this kid, and I'll have to wade through the water, and he'll be in, a formal white shirt and bow tie, and I'll take that off. He was about to go to an opera with the drug rep, played by Andrea Parker, whom he liked but didn't like as much as he liked Hathaway.
So here's your costume, Don Giovanni.
No. It's tights. I'll just wear a tux.
Help! Please help! Please help!
Then the second act is finding this kid in a storm drain and trying to save this kid where there are bars up and he can't get the kid out, and the kid is hypothermic.
There's a lake here in the back lot at Warner Brothers where we built a big dump tank and emptied the water as it came through the pipe into this lake and then pumped it back out and kind of kept recycling it.
It was all night, it was all wet, everybody was wet, the equipment was wet. It was very difficult to accomplish.
You gotta do me a favor, okay? You gotta trust me. Can you do that? Okay?
In this particular incident, I could not wire him because he was always in water up to his chest. So any transmitter that I would have put on him would have gotten soaked. So we had him in the ceiling of the tunnel.
They tried to heat the water and keep him warm. And you could see the water was sort of cloudy and smoke was coming off of it. And sometimes we had to sacrifice some performance because of it. But generally, we were able to cut around it because Chris really covered himself and shot a lot.
We had cameras in the tube, and we had cameras in the reservoir where the boy had washed out with George. It was very physical. There was no faking. We were in real water with real water pressure. There was a metal grate. George's hands got all cut up just from various takes of actually grabbing the grate. He had to physically lift the kid out of the water, and George chided me for casting such a heavy kid because he could barely walk up the bank with him. And I said, hey, you want a light kid or the best actor I could get? So I got the best actor.
That was some good lighting there. It was like very godlike, very, total hero. Every woman in, the world was like, I love you.
We had the benefit of having worked together for a year in terms of the crew and the producers, and Richard Thorpe, the director of photography, and Jackie DeVaron, the editor.
I actually was finishing another show when I was starting Hell and High Water. The buzz on the set and in dailies and all around with all the writers is, this is an Emmy show, which petrifies you because, it just ramps you to 200%. We knew it was big, we knew it was going to be big, it was going to be great.
Hypothermic and causing arrhythmia. I'm Dr. Ross, County ER.
The third act is the challenge, really. He's gotten the kid breathing, but they have to decide, should they take him to the nearest hospital, which is a community hospital, not well equipped for trauma.
What's your flight time to County ER? 15 minutes. The taken?
Chopper's not equipped for medical transport.
Boy is hypothermic, he needs special care.
Mercy's closer.
Yeah, by 3 minutes and he dies because there's no ICU.
Or else he dies in a noose,
Look,
Chopper.
I don't have time to argue with you. I will take full responsibility for this.
And everyone is telling him, the doctors, the medics, don't do it, but he decides to, and it illustrated George's character.
All right, White Cat, here we go.
Because he was willing to take a risk. Maybe other doctors disagreed with him, but he knew and felt strongly what was best for the kid, and he was right. So I try to approach kid in jeopardy stories not just to put a kid in jeopardy, but to illustrate all the various viewpoints.
Hit and run, no witnesses. Found unconscious, responsive to pain. BP 140 over 90, rest low at 10. Get radiology down here, trauma tube.
What's her name? Lunchbox says Molly Phillips.
With the character Molly, Noah Wiley's patient, she gives Noah Wiley and Christine Elise, who played Harper Tracy, who was a medical student, a little bracelet, I think.
It's for you. Thank you.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
And when she picked up the lunchbox, everyone in Daly's went, "Oh my God, Molly's a goner."
For me, that's a tip-off. This is not good. She's giving something that can be remembered to these two medical students.
She was doing really well to the very end. I think when Ben started to come around, that's when she went south.
Unpredictably, she dies. And I don't think the audience saw that coming. That was just supposed to be kind of a lighthearted, nice little story, you know, in counterpoint to the real tense stuff. And then at the end, everything switches.
That was sad. And everybody was kind of so involved in the emotion of it and had their own spin on it. And Guy B, who is our operator, a Steadicam operator as well, was shooting the shot, and I was watching the monitor, and I'd say, cut. And he pulled his eye away from the camera, and he had a little tear in it.
And it really becomes Carter's tragedy, whereas George leaves the hospital as the hero. All of the newspaper reporters are outside, and he is welcomed back to the ER.
I'm always cognizant when we do stories about kids and tragedy that a mother, a father is going to be watching the story. And as a filmmaker, you got to be bold, tell the story, and kind of let the chips fall where they may. And you got to do it in a way that is sensitive.
George, he was fantastic. It was a great episode for him. No question, he had all of it going on. He had this sensitivity, he had this vulnerability, he had this strength.
My brother got it done.
No, he is not. No, he is not.
I remember it was a lot of work. It was torture a lot of times, but everybody was into it. We were led and well by Christopher Chulak, who he set the tone, and we all supported him. I mean, Chris got the Directors Guild Award for that, and richly deserved. And, you know, I mean, he did so much that's not on the screen.
It was really great to be nominated. I was sound asleep in my little bed, and this phone call comes at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Startled me. I fell out of bed answering the phone because I didn't know that your executive producer would call you up and say, "Guess what? You've been nominated." So it was really thrilling.
I was flattered. And it's always nice to be nominated, and it's nice to be recognized by your peers.
One of the great things about ER is that John Wells always said, write what you want and we'll cut back when we need to, or where we need to. So on Hell and High Water, I had flooding water, and I had helicopters flying and landing in the park in Chicago. And guess what? It all was on film. We did it.